Alright, so here's part 2 of the last video I just did, where I got this radio to work. I'm now working on this one with the HDMI. Now the board we're talking about is this board here, which is the, I think I said sister board in the last video, but I think it was actually the daughter board. Now what you have to do is, there's 3 screws on the top that attach with the CD drive. You take the 3 screws out and the top plate and the CD drive come out. Then there is this aluminum heatsink plate, which from what I'm told is actually the culprit of the overheating issue. So you got 1, 2, 3 screws. There's a little gel pad here for the thermal dissipation. Now you got to be careful getting this board out, because there is, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. But there is a long black plug underneath, so make sure you pull up from this side, kind of wiggle it back and forth, because that's the plug that comes out of the bottom. Now this board, the chips are actually a little different than they were in the other one. That processor chip is the same, but these Nanya chips are different. And on the bottom here, this ESMT chip on that unit was a Toshiba chip. This one, it's ESMT. When I did my reflow, I took this card out because I didn't want to damage the little SIM card. I don't know if it's storage for the GPS or what, or navigation, whatever you want to call it. So anyway, so basically what I did was I had this turned over, got the heat gun, and I warmed up the bottom. Got it nice and warm. I flipped it over. Now, just like I did with the Xbox 360s, you want to keep these as flat as possible. So as I warmed it up, this little sucker, as I warmed it up on this side and got it pretty warm, I then turned it over with the black plug leaning over the edge so that this would sit semi-flat. Reflow, let it sit and dry. And when I let it sit and dry, this tabletop here is like a veneer finish, so it kind of tried to stick to it a little bit, but it was okay. Once it cooled, I put it back in, put everything back together, took the power cord, took it out to my jump box, and boom, I was amazed that it worked. So if you see here, the guy on the forum said IC500 chip, which is this ESMT chip. He was saying that this is the one that basically gets a short inside of it. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I will say that, considering that's the furthest away from the cooling fan. So yeah, if a lot of heat builds up there to that chip, that would kind of make sense, because there's not really anything drawing the heat away from that chip, and it's the furthest away from where the cooling fan duct is. So that being said, how to prevent this later on, I'm not sure. Maybe another thermal pad on the chip itself connecting to the housing. It's a possibility, but I'm going to try to reflow this one and see if it works, and I will do a part 3 video if I am successful.